We all have those couples on social media whose relationship we envy. But what if I told you that the majority of them are actually crumbling to pieces behind closed doors?
Hustle. Every single day, I'm telling you guys, I've never in 3 years taken one day off.
At what point does the hustle start to affect the people that you love?
She was playing games with her kids. Eye roll.
Your husband's working overtime to pay the bills. You're bringing home no money. In the end, who's really winning here? What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel, and also welcome to the first episode of my new series called Top 5. Today I'm going to dive deep into the top 5 things within an MLM that are sure to ruin your marriage. I'm going to work some different videos in between each episode of the series just to kind of break things up, but I am super excited for this series because I feel like, one, I bring a unique perspective to the table. I've been the one on the other end of it and the one being manipulated as well, but also I think it's important to point out these things that people may not recognize as being like signs of abuse or things that are actually hurting you more than they're helping you. They're not apparent to everyone. When you're under the spell, as I like to say, these types of things are hard to recognize. So I hope that by pointing these things out and bringing these things to people's attention, that people will be able to avoid these types of situations that are essentially ruining their lives. So without further ado, let's get started with the top 5 things that are sure to ruin your marriage within an MLM. I'm going to start off with the most obvious one, and these are in no particular order other than the flow of the video. Like, they're not in order from like greatest to least. So I think the most obvious one is time. We all know that there's so much time that goes into building a business within an MLM. They'll rope you in with the idea that you can just work it in the pockets of your day, but then once you're in and you've seen the vision, they've brainwashed you. They will flip it, a little bait and switch method, to get you to do things like quit your job or put yourself in a financial situation where you have to put more time into the business than you originally had expected to. I would even go so far as to say that it's almost like a bragging point to have like the most on your table. No, I will say that it most definitely is a bragging point to be the person who has the most on your table and you're not making excuses to work your business, or to not work your business rather. So as promised, I did tell you guys that I was going to bring screenshots to the table and screen recordings and videos and Zoom calls just to show you guys that this is not just a fluke thing. It wasn't just my experience. I know a lot of people try to claim that that may have been your experience, but that's not my experience. So I'm here to debunk that because I have screenshots from all over. I have videos from all over. I have screen recordings from all over. So this first screenshot comes from an old team page that I was in. And the post originally was asking for testimonies of people who were super busy but still made the business work. I would assume this meant that they had a distributor who was using the excuse that they didn't have time to work it or what have you. So here's what a couple of the comments read. This first one reads, "I'm a high school math teacher, mentor teacher, working outside of a contract hours with landlord of 5 rental houses. We own a company and I have 2 kids, 10 and 12. Travel ball consumes us, LOL. Where there's a will, there's a way. I have learned to only work intentionally while I'm on my phone and make the best out of the time I do have. Plus, I only get like 5 hours of sleep a night, so I can work at night and in the mornings as well as throughout the day every chance I get to fit it in." And here's another response on that same post. "I was full-time, 60 plus hours a week when I started, newly engaged, didn't have the funds to start, and had no idea what MLMs were." Another one, "When I started, I worked full-time. I was a single mom and was in a full-time accelerated nursing program. I'm still amazed I survived." So like I said, the way that they do this is they make it out to be where you can work it in the pockets of your day, and then they use the little bait and switch method. They instill this belief in you that anyone can do it, regardless of where you're from, what color you are, what size you are, what age you are, doesn't matter. Anybody can do it. So you start to believe these things, and then you are willing to give up sleep, time with your family, etc., in order to be successful because they've really made you believe that it's possible. And if it wasn't working, aka mass messaging, it was getting on team Zooms, interacting on social media, going to events, being present on power hours, responding to potential customers and distributors' messages, answering your team's questions based on what level you were in the company, you would be charting, creating content, planning out Zoom trainings and stuff like that. So no matter what it was, you were always expected to be there. If you were not there, any reason that you were not there was seen as an excuse. I'll actually even go as far as to tell you guys this about me, and let me say, this makes me look like the shittiest human on earth. But as I've told you guys, transparency is the only way to change. So I'm going to share it with you guys. If I could find the screenshot, I would show you guys like straight up, but I couldn't find the screenshot again. However, I came across a screenshot a few months ago where someone on my team was asking me where such and such person was on the team call that night. And you were always expected to be present on the team calls, especially if you had a team under you and you were their leader. You were to lead by example, which meant being present on these team calls, right? So another leader had asked me, where was so-and-so on the team call? I said back to her,
she was playing games with her kids, eye roll.
As if I was like annoyed that this person was spending time with their children and that it was an excuse. And I'm not trying to give myself an out here, but that's legitimately what we were taught. That would be using our why as our excuse.
We joined the business to give our kids a better life, and now we're using them as an excuse as to why we can't work the business.
And that just makes me sick. Like, to think that I truly believe that this person spending time with their kids and playing games with their kids was like a bad thing. I've got to show you guys this clip that I found the other day. It was a clip that I had sent my team in my team chat, something about like being all in. Like, I wanted to motivate them and inspire them to be all in. Okay, so this was a video that I sent my team, and I'm first going to preface this by saying this person is no longer with the company. She is out. She has seen the light. She is just as passionate about steering people away from MLMs as I am. So I will be heavily distorting her face and her voice because she doesn't need any shit, and she realizes the wrong that she did, and she has moved past it and is in a much better place now. And I actually think I'm probably going to reach out to her before I even put this clip in here, so I may have to cut it out if she's not comfortable with me sharing it. But I really don't want you guys contacting these people. I've said that once, but I don't know how you guys find these people and contact them, but please do not contact any of these people, especially this one, because she's out now, she's seen the light, she's helping people stay away from MLMs. Like, just don't, okay? All right.
Hustle. Every single day, I'm telling you guys, I've never in 3 years taken one day off. I've had dogs pass away. I've had life happen. I've had fights with my boyfriend. I've had fights with family. I've had moments where I thought that my mental health was just gonna take me under. And not a day has gone by where I have not posted, messaged, followed up.
So that just goes to show you like how normalized this was. Like, I sent that to my team as like inspiration to motivate them to work harder. Seeing that now, my heart breaks for her. And like I said, this is not just like her, you guys. Like, sure, it doesn't make her look great because she was the one saying it at that time, but we learned it from people above us. It came with this idea that like, if you wanted it bad enough, you would be willing to do the same things. You would be willing to fight with your family. You would be willing to fight with your spouse. You would be willing to shut down your emotions about your animal passing away. You would be willing to shut out your mental health because you wanted success that bad, and that was normal. I'm here to tell you, and I've said it in many of my other videos, but in case you're new here, if anything tells you to suppress your emotions in order to keep moving forward, you're in the wrong business. And now they'll try to preach like schedule out time for your family, schedule out date nights, blah, blah, blah. I'm here to tell you that's not possible, you guys. I was talking to my friend about it the other day. Even when you're on date nights and you decide, I'm not going to take my phone out today, like we're just going to have a date night, just the two of us, your mind the entire time is sitting there thinking about your business. You know that at any given moment, it could crumble. You know that one person, if one person cancels their account, it could take your paycheck from $7,000, $8,000 to $1,000 overnight in a split second. They've set it up in such a way that you have to have to rely on building a downline in order to make a substantial income. So even when you're able to take time off, your mind is not taking time off. And this next one really gets me because they will sit there and preach about how they have time freedom and they're so thankful that they don't have to work holidays and weekends at a 9 to 5 anymore. But the thing is, they're working on their holidays and weekends. Like they may be doing it from their phone, from the comfort of their own home, but they're working on holidays and weekends. Typically a 9 to 5, you're not working on holidays and weekends. But they flip this narrative because they want you to believe that there's no other option, that that is the only option. I came across this post from one of our favorite girls, and I say one of our favorite girls because I feel like we have a few now. But this is Preacher's Wife favorite girl.
If you're about to put it down but then pick it back up in January, this post is for you. We're coming into holiday season where people stop chasing their dreams. They'll say they have too many events to go to. They'll say the kids are too busy. They'll say they have too much on their plate. They'll say they don't have enough money. They'll say they're too stressed. They'll say after the holidays. They'll say later. The reason high achievers are not because they're lucky or because they're gifted. It's because they decide to work towards their dreams regardless of perfect timing. If you're in a business or an entrepreneur, heed my advice. Do not stop or slow down just because the holidays are coming. This is a huge advantage that you will have over 90% of the people that will. This is your moment. My friends, life is not either or, it's and. I can go to events and work my business. I can be a mom and work my business. I can stop making excuses about time and money and change my situation. Someone called me brutal the other day.
Imagine that.
That's definitely dramatic.
Is it though? Is it though?
Am I honest? Yes. Am I kind enough to tell you the truth? Yes. Am I direct? Yes. This is your sign. Keep your focus and commitments this holiday. Stop staying at the bottom. That's a choice.
So, like I said, you're expected to work holidays and weekends, even though they portray it in a way where you're never going to have to work holidays and weekends again. You are guilted into working holidays and weekends. I actually came across a video from someone on the corporate team. So at the very tippy top, you know, the ones that are working the 9 to 5. Those ones. I found a video from one of the tip top guys and he was basically like, you know, most people will take the holidays off. Take this Black Friday as a chance to avoid the crowds and stay home and work. Looking back, you guys, this stuff pisses me off so bad, but at the time it was pure inspiration to us. The people who were willing to go like beyond what the 90% were willing to go was so inspirational. I mean, even if we were present in those moments, like on the weekends and the holidays and such, even if we were present, we were still expected to be making content. We were still expected to post every single day, no matter what. Because they always said, if you take one day off from posting, it takes 3 days to recover from that. Which brings me to my next point. The second thing within an MLM that will ruin your marriage is social media. And there are so many different ways that this can ruin your marriage. And all of these things kind of tie together and they'll kind of come together in the end. You'll see. But the first thing and probably the most obvious is that we were constantly on our phones all the time, 24/7. Even sitting on the couch, like watching a movie together, we're on our phones. And it started to make our spouses feel like, you know, social media is more important than they are. And I know that a lot of spouses did struggle with that. Not only that, but they're sitting there thinking like, you're on your phone all the time to the point where you can't spend time with your family. I'm sick of you being on your phone all the time, but also the money's not coming in. So like something's not adding up here. I also know that my husband specifically, and I'm sure other people dealt with this too, would get annoyed that I had to take pictures of everything. So we would be in the middle of enjoying something and I would stop and make them pose so that I would have content to post about, so that I could in some way relate it to the business. And here's another screenshot I found. This one was in a leadership page. So it was like, I think double diamonds and above. And it says, weird question, but we're all in the same business and it's about attraction marketing. What do you guys do when you get annoyed with asking someone to take a picture of you, aka husband? I hate asking my husband because if I say it's not a good angle, he gets offended. But I need those pictures, that stock of pictures that you can use on the days you're home in PJs. What do you guys do? We all did it. We all had those stock photos that we had for the days that we were at home in our PJs. That just goes into something that I'm going to be talking about here soon, is the fake lifestyle that you have to portray on social media. It gets exhausting, but we definitely taught our teams on a day where they did their hair and makeup to just change clothes and take different types of pictures, hold up different products, hold up different number of fingers for how many spots you have left. I wanted to find an example of this specific situation where you're enjoying something and you make them stop so that you can take pictures for content. And all I had to do was type in the word blessed on my Facebook page. And of course, plethora of examples for you guys. But this one says, we weren't able to get a picture of all four of us, so this is what you get. I think this morning we were going to go to church or something like that. Yeah, Christmas service. And we were probably running late, and I made everybody stop and come take a picture with me so that I would be able to use it and talk about how blessed I was on this Christmas morning. So it says, we made it to Christmas service this morning with the whole clan, which was so nice. Anna did have a cute little headband on, but you can guess that she ripped it off. Feeling extremely blessed this holiday season to have family here, chat off work, and to have the freedom of working from my phone so I can enjoy these moments. At least I didn't say that I wasn't working. I had the freedom of working from my phone. And we don't even need to talk about the infamous family photos anymore because I feel like we're pretty familiar with those at this point. But those are the type of sacrifices that husbands make when their wives are in MLMs. And I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning, but I feel blessed that these things didn't affect my relationship as much as they did most people around me in the MLM. And that's not to like toot my own horn or say that my marriage is the best and that it's perfect. That's to say that my husband is a saint and he deals with a lot of shit. But this isn't even the bulk of the problem with social media. The main problem with social media lies in the fact that everything on social media is fake. So they either, one, feel like that they have to uphold this image to portray this perfect lifestyle on social media. They have to act a certain way or do certain things because they know that you're going to make a post about it. You guys know I've shared with you that I have posted for Chad on his social media when it comes to like how proud he is of me and my business and what have you, because that's what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to portray this perfect relationship on social media, this supportive relationship, to inspire those who don't have a supportive spouse or that don't want them to join the MLM. You know, we were always taught to talk about how our husbands didn't want us to, and now that we're making the money, of course, they're supportive of us. I chose to do that in the way of making the post for him. I don't know if my husband would ever admit it, but I could sense there were moments where I was acting a certain way on social media when at home I was miserable, and there was an obvious disconnect there, and you could tell that that was frustrating for him. Or I would be like open about my struggles on social media because it was like perfectly flawed is, I don't know how else to put it, but we wanted to like be open with our struggles, but like only to a certain point that people could relate to us, but not to a point that would like make us look bad. And so I would be open on social media about, you know, when I was dealing with postpartum depression with my son. My husband could tell, and he mentioned it to me all the time, you know, like, are you sure you're okay? You know, you seem off. Are you sure you're okay? Like, what's going on? Talk to me. And I wouldn't. But then I would be posting on social media, being super open about my postpartum depression. So that would make him feel like I don't want to talk to him about my issues, but I'm willing to talk to the world on social media about it. I also specifically remember dismissing my husband's hard work by claiming that I was like the breadwinner and that there was no way that we could live on his income. I've showed you guys this post before, but I'll put it up here. You can pause it if you'd like to read it again, or if you haven't seen the video where I brought it up. But I always talked about how military income sucked and that my husband didn't make good money, and so I was the breadwinner. And while that didn't bother my husband, I know that it it did bother some husbands within the business, and it would come between their relationship. I actually was talking to a friend who told me that her and her husband had an argument because she got a new car and she was feeling pressured to post about thanking the business for the car. The husband felt offended, and rightfully so, because his job and his hard work and his overtime was what paid for that car. But within the MLM, you're taught to credit everything to the business. If you guys are new here, you're going to learn that I still say this business, the business, etc. And it's a very hard habit to break. So I have said that I'm going to stop apologizing for it, though I do apologize for it still sometimes. But if I say it and I don't catch myself, don't call me out in the comments because I know. But yeah, her upline was pressuring her to thank the business for this new car, and he was upset because it was his hard work that actually paid for the car, and he was valid in those feelings. And it's really sad that couples have to be put in that situation. Which brings me to the third way that an MLM is sure to ruin your marriage, and that is stress. And I know that stress comes with every job, but stress comes in a different way within MLMs. Like I just mentioned, keeping up with the Joneses and crediting everything to your business can put tension within a marriage, right? And not only because of what I just mentioned, not only because, it gets offensive to the husband who's at home working hard and you're crediting everything to your business, or you're struggling at home and you're struggling to make ends meet, but you're portraying a lifestyle full of like luxury and money on the outside. But also, it makes people create more debt in order to portray this lifestyle. And I know this very well because I did it. I'm going to show you guys just a couple of posts that I credited to the business that were not due to the business. We'll start out with this first one. I'll just read you the post and then tell you what it's all about. So this first one says, when I joined It Works 9 months ago, a new car wasn't even an option. Living paycheck to paycheck with $8 in our checking account meant we had to make one car work. Never in a million years did I think this silly rat business would get me a new car, let alone with leather interior, backup cam, heated seats in the front and back, sunroof, moonroof, keyless ignition, and third row seating. Thank you, It Works. Hashtag my first car, hashtag big girl purchase, hashtag Nissan Pathfinder, hashtag this is real life, hashtag believe me yet. Does this car make me look momish? First of all, cringe city, but also that car was 100% financed. Like 100%. And I'm pretty sure my car payments were like well over, actually, I'm very certain that my car payments were well over $400 because after that, we traded in that car to get a smaller car for my husband when we upgraded to the Suburban, which I'll show you. So crazy car payments, not because of It Works, and the lie detector test determined that was a lie. Which leads me to the Suburban I told you guys about. And here this one says, so this just happened. I remember before joining It Works thinking, no one really makes money with those pyramid schemes. I'm too shy to ever get anywhere with it. You have to be special and get in early to be successful. I don't want to annoy my friends and family. I really can't afford the startup cost. But when plan A, B, C, D, and E failed, I had no other option but to be open-minded to anything God threw my way. I threw all of my fears and doubts aside and ran with the opportunity. Now, among many other blessings this business has brought us, we were able to buy Chad his new dad of two mobile, a Suburban LTZ. First of all, let me just say it was an outdated Suburban. It wasn't even like one of those super nice ones. But also, we traded the Pathfinder that I just told you guys about in for a little... He still has it. We call it the go-kart because it's a little Ford Fiesta. Yeah, a Ford Fiesta base model that we paid like $9,000 for or something like that. And now that's what he drives to and from work. So this ended up being mommy's car, and daddy had to trade my car in for a little putt-putter. So the lie detector test determined that was also a lie. And I'll show you guys one more because why not? This says, those of you who know me know that I'm pretty low maintenance type of gal. So when Chad asked me to marry him 3 years ago, we went to JCPenney's and picked out a cheap, fake, yet very pretty ring, and I was satisfied. That is true. Now I don't even have one on.
However, once I started making good money with It Works, we always said we were going to splurge and get me a nicer ring. We walked into a jewelry store today just to look and get ideas and walked out with this beauty. We have to wait for her to get sized with the matching wedding band, but how gorgeous is it? It's going to be so weird to wear it, and I'll probably be so scared for the first couple months. I've never owned a piece of jewelry worth more than $150, but I cannot wait to proudly wear this gorgeousness. Thank you, Lord, for putting It Works in my life. I feel like a princess.
Y'all. That was also financed. We made payments on that for 3 years, I think. But you know what? It works. So the next contributor to all the stress within an MLM goes to the pressure that's put on you to constantly be working no matter what, no excuses, all the time. So here is a message from our leadership chat from above me. So this was not me sending the message. It was from someone far above me sending it to our team of leaders, which would be Diamond and above. It says, I am focused on new leadership. I want you on stage. I want this crew in the top 200 by conference, which means we've got work to do. I'm sick of watching people pass us when I know damn well we are capable of everything we want. I'm not bringing any more balloons to any more pity parties. I'm not doing any more CPR, and I'm not just going to sit here and wait for anyone to work. I'm leading by example and dead set on keeping my crew tight with those who are serious about taking this business and their life to a whole new level. More joy, more fun, more friend. I assume that meant to say friends. More friends, more money. No excuses, no sad, sorry states, no drama, no comparison. So if you were not all in, you were getting left behind. She only wanted to work with the people and take the people to the top who were all in and giving everything, no excuses. And anything was seen as an excuse. Watching TV, excuse. Spending time with your kids, excuse. Taking a bubble bath, excuse. I don't have time because I'm working 875 jobs. I haven't slept in 4 days and I just started my period, excuse. And this one is just sad. This one says, help me out, guys. I'm doing a little segment on people who took this opportunity despite all the excuses they had and used it for their reason. Example, I had a distributor paycheck to paycheck. Her mom got cancer, and instead of not choosing to work the business during that time, she busted her ass and promoted because it became her reason, not her excuse. First of all, that is so sad. If my mother had cancer, I would be spending any waking moment that I possibly could with her. This post was from a team page, and someone must have asked, how do you juggle so many things? Like, you're a busy mom, you have a full-time job, XYZ, how do you juggle everything and make sure that you get everything done? And this girl said, when I started this biz, I worked full-time at a bar and part-time in an event office. Honestly, I made sure to work /message/post in any free time that I had, including mornings, lunch breaks, or evenings. I was tired all the time. But honestly, I knew that putting in that time would eventually get me out. Even if you only have an hour a day, make it intentional. The idea was that it would pay off in the end, and you can sleep when you're dead, is what we would always say. Which is gross and dark now, looking back. You also know that anything could crumble at any time, like I mentioned. So you're constantly on edge, feeling like you have to get back to people right away. You have to be doing all the things all the time because you know that in any given moment it can be stripped away from you. And this also comes with like not only being on edge all the time, but tired from lacking sleep because you're supposed to stay up late, wake up early. Like this girl said, she had 5 hours of sleep at night. So obviously that's going to take a toll on your mental health, which will drive a wedge between you and your spouse. And I feel like that's something that is kind of a subtle sign that there's a wedge driven between you. Like it's not a very obvious sign because, you know, people who are busy just think, oh, you know, I'm just tired or I'm just going through some stuff mentally or my depression's just kicking in again. But it's circumstantial in this situation because the only reason that you're stressed and tired and what have you is because you're running yourself into the ground and depriving yourself of sleep in order to hopefully become successful with this MLM, which 9 times out of 10, more than than 9 times out of 10 doesn't happen. Not to mention you're constantly being pushed to go to the next level, and I've touched on this in a few of my videos too, but once you get to the rank you were hoping to achieve, you can't just relax at any point in time. You're constantly encouraged to keep pushing to the next level, and that's mainly because you can't really go slow in an MLM. If you go slow, things start to crumble because you have to move as fast as people are falling off. So if you're moving at a slow pace and people are falling off just as quickly, then you're going to crumble. So being uncomfortable became the new norm. Like, you were supposed to be uncomfortable all the time because you're not improving if you're not uncomfortable, because you're not climbing the ranks if you're not uncomfortable. So you never had a moment to just chill and be happy where you were at, which is obviously very taxing on your mental health. They'll always push this narrative that, like, if you get to a certain level, you won't have to deal with the stress anymore. You won't have to worry about money anymore. You won't have to work as hard. But that was quite the opposite. The higher ranking I got, the more downline I had, so the more stress I took on. That also meant the higher promotions I was going for, the more money was required to put into the promotions. The more money would pay off in the end. If I put that money in of my own money, it would pay off the next month. Does that make sense? So the higher ranking you got, the income levels rose. So it would make more sense for you to put in more money to get a bigger paycheck the following month because you were always promised that it would pay off. This obviously drives a wedge between you and your family for many different reasons, but basically you're prioritizing the business over your family. And I have a video that I actually found. I have not seen this video before, aside from probably when I made the video, but I put this video in a leadership group that I was in, and I haven't been in that leadership group for years, physically in it. I apparently have remained in it on Facebook, but I didn't know that I was in it. So let's just watch this video. Happy Monday! I am hijacking the page because I have a message to share that I think is really important, and I want to share it with you guys. So if you are hopping on, go ahead and drop your name so I know that you're watching, and give me some hearts or something. I always hate this waiting period, waiting for people to get on. I don't know if it's working because this is my second try. It wasn't working before. So we shall see. I haven't showered today or in the last 3 days. Not much has changed, although I did shower yesterday, so I look pretty spiffy today. But don't ask me again in like 3 days because I'm not sure where I'll be at that point. That's the beauty of working from home. Oh, I see people are getting on. Yay. So I wanted to hop on here and talk to you guys about the excuse, I don't really have time. And I've heard it from potentials, I've heard it from leaders, I've heard it from everyone. Everyone has that excuse. And I think the reality of it is that we have the time. It's just a matter of prioritizing the time that we do have. So this really came to light yesterday. I was doing some personal development and I was reading a devotional, and it said that the only way that this woman realized how important it was to like seek the word of God was when she got cancer. She was always telling herself, like, I don't have time to dive into the word every day. I don't have time to read my Bible every day. I don't have time to do devotions every day. And in reality, she did have the time. They were just, her time was prioritized differently. So she said that when she got cancer, it made her realize that she got cancer and she had to prioritize her time because she had to go to treatments and appointments and stuff like that. And she was giving up activities that she felt once defined her. And so she had this realization that I thought that these activities were like crucial to who I was as a person, and really I need to live, and we need to like seek God's word as much as we want to live. So she was saying like prioritize your time as far as like putting God first, your health, and then everything else. And so I kind of apply everything to the business, but I really applied that to the business because I hear that excuse all the time that people just don't have time. And I want to tell you that I have a girl on my team that oh my gosh, she does everything. She's a coach, she's a mom, she's a wife, she's a teacher. She literally does everything, and she finds time to work this business, whether it be 5-minute bathroom break, on her 20-minute lunch, listening to a Zoom on her way home, or hopping on Zoom with us to just connect with us on her way to work. She finds time to work this business into her schedule. It's just a matter of how badly you want it to happen. So she wants this bad. She just went diamond. She's going for double diamond, and she wants it bad. So she's using every spare second that she has to put it into the business. And whether that be like giving up your favorite TV show and using every spare second that you have to be messaging people or expanding your network or whatever, using the little bit of time that you do have to work the business. So if you're still working full time, you get up and you go to work at 6 a.m, you get off at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you got to get your kids, get home, get dinner, blah, 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 blah. Post right before you go to work. On your lunch break, message people. When you get off work, make another post. While you're making dinner, listen to a YouTube video with training on time management or whatever. Finally, somebody give me some hearts. Thanks, Carly. That's why you're my girl. Okay, so I just want to get on here and talk about that because I hear it all the time. And the truth is, everyone has time for this business. It's just a matter of how bad you want it and prioritizing the time that you do have. So I don't think many people hopped on. I don't know if this is even working, but I saw that I got some hearts. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that it helped a little bit. I'm going to be posting a little bit more throughout the day, just some of my tips and tricks that I have up my sleeve. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your Monday, and I will see you later. Bye.
Let me first just say, I don't think I could have used a worse analogy. Like, I feel like that analogy did the exact opposite of what I wanted it to. So this lady's dying of cancer, and she realized the things that like truly matter in life, and that she should have made time to like dig into the word before she was like on her deathbed or whatever. But that would make me think like, wow, maybe I should reconsider what I'm spending my time on and spend more time with my family and digging into the word rather than on this business that isn't even making me any money. Also, notice how I didn't mention that the girl from my team worked in any time for her spouse. Just saying. I also want to mention that I don't think that I was intentionally manipulating people in these videos that I made. I think that's important to mention, and it's not to give myself a free pass or anything, but I think it's important to mention because I think a lot of these people who are at the top of these companies and are leading so many people in their downline don't even realize the magnitude of the things that they're saying, but it's stuff that they've been taught to say by the people above them, or that they've orchestrated on their own, I guess, some leaders. But that's why I wanted to do this series too, to help people recognize those sort of things and maybe see from an outsider's perspective how it looks and how it makes no sense, so that we can easily recognize those things and avoid them. Stress will also come in the form of financial stress, which brings me to my fourth way that an MLM is sure to ruin your marriage. From day one, people are encouraged to go against their spouse when it comes to money. We were always taught when people needed to talk to their husband first, we were taught to say it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission. Like, here's a post that one of my uplines made, and it says, 7 years ago, I said yes, against my husband's will, with a laughing face. It was always made out to be a joke. And it was definitely a bragging point if you joined and your husband was not for it, and then you proved him wrong. Keep that in mind. It'll be important later. And from there, like I mentioned before, you would get talked into basically backing yourself into a corner, making it to where you have to rely on the business. So whether that be quit your job, have your husband quit his job, or like I'm getting ready to show you, a post from a leadership page. So this was from a diamond and above page. It says, so I just did the craziest thing I think I've ever done. All the tips and prayers welcome.
I just spent $270 on 10 wrap rewards. I only had $333-ish in my account. So we now have $67 to our name. I'm a couple months behind on my $420 car payment and haven't had car insurance for close to a month. We have 1/4 tank of gas. We are struggling bad. My husband is finally starting work tomorrow. My It Works check in March will only be enough to cover a car payment and a tank of gas, probably. We are due with our third child in a month and don't have a single thing for it. I can't believe I just did this, but as I was showering my time for deep, uninterrupted thoughts, I told myself that this was a good idea. I've sold a handful of wraps from blitzing over the last 4 years, but that's it. But I need to go hustle these 48 wraps that I have on hand. Please hit me with your best wrap selling tips. I'm so miserable and very anemic, but I'm just going to have to push myself to go out blitzing, even if I may black out a few times along the way. Thankfully, my husband is choosing to believe in me, but he is very nervous about my decision to spend the last of our money, understandably. Understandably is right. But this type of stuff is the stuff that would be encouraged to back yourself into a corner so that you have no other option. My guess is that this idea was put into her head by whoever her upline was, because guess what? It doesn't matter to her upline if she sells those wraps because she bought the wraps, so her upline is still getting paid. And then I just want to show this one really quick. Somebody asked, what do you tell a potential distributor who really wants to join but her husband won't let her? The first comment, you need a new husband. The second comment, ditch the husband. So from day one, it is constantly ingrained in your head that you need to prove him wrong, or you need to get a new husband, or to go against whatever your husband's wishes are. But from there, it just gets progressively worse and worse and worse. The next part comes the auto shipment, which you are told when you join that there are no quotas, you don't have to carry inventory. But once you're in, you're told that auto ship is law and that you have to run your auto shipment if you want to be successful. So this is a post from 2014. I don't even think I was in at this point, but I found it in one of the groups I'm in that I didn't realize I was in. From my upline who posted, hey everyone, auto ships are so important, 80 BV. This guarantees you for your free product, discounted product, commissions, promoting, bonuses, etc. Do not rely on having 400 PBV. If someone returns any product, you won't get paid. You won't get bonuses, you won't promote, you won't get free or discounted product. Get my point yet? 80 BV auto ship has to be set up to be run within the first 30 days, not a day late. You being a distributor's upline, this will make you not earn your $100 bonus on them. Always set it up at sign up so there's no confusion. I never sign up a distributor if they do not and are not willing to do an 80 BV auto ship. End of story. Multi-millionaires in this business still run an 80 BV auto ship. It's the law, as Black Diamond Cami Pentecost would say. Do it. Is your 80 BV auto ship set up yet? So that's just one example of how much they pressure you to run your auto shipment. And this one's very interesting to me. There was an entire post above it just about other stuff, not about an auto ship. But this is the part that's interesting to me. These are the 3 annoying realities that you have to deal with if you don't run an auto shipment. 1, you have to closely watch your personal volume to reach 150. 2, you risk missing a promotion and your paycheck if you don't have 150 in personal volume. I've seen this happen too many times to count. 3, you experience below average commission checks due to low volume under your DTs, since you have to keep your LCs to maintain that 150 in personal volume, and miss promoting because you didn't place those LCs. That part is interesting because the higher you keep your customers, the more you get paid on them. But you can't promote without people underneath of you promoting, hence this shape structure. So if you're not transferring those customers, there's no possible way for you to promote, hence no possible way for you to make a substantial income. So keeping all of your customers under you, you would get paid more on those customers, but you can't promote without promoting your teammates as well. So you would in turn get paid less. This one is the most interesting to me, considering that they try to claim that the distributors are not the customers. It says a low volume from not training your new teammates the importance of running an auto ship. Just imagine the amount of commissions alone from your downline running 80 BV auto ships every month. That's weird. That's suspicious. Bottom line, I've never met anyone in the top 500 of this company that doesn't run an 80 BV auto ship. So if you want to be successful, learn from the pros. Do what we do. Run your auto ship, teach your teams to do the same, and watch your paycheck skyrocket and promote faster than you ever thought possible. Isn't that something? From there, it progresses into everyone pressuring you to get to conference, because the yearly conferences are when the people see the vision. They're able to be brainwashed because they are surrounded by people who all believe the same things. They are love bombed. They're seeing stories of all these different people who have done all these different things that they feel like they can do as well, because these people did come from like all walks of life. This is where the false hope is instilled in them. So you were always pressured to be at conference and to get your spouse to conference. Most of these posts were just like rags to riches stories about why you needed to go to conference and how it would change your business, but I wanted to focus on the last part of this. It says, the way I see it, you can't afford not to go. You can't. If you need this income in the worst way, my suggestion to you is this: find a way, make a way, bunk up, drive there, live off of PB&J, do whatever you need to do. This 100% will change everything for your future, I promise. When I went for the first time, I was already making $9,000 a month. But guess what happened? It doubled in less than 2 months. Other years, I've seen $5,000 to $15,000 raises every year after conference within months. Each time you go, you get a pay raise. You can make this happen. I know you can. Call your parents or in-laws or friends or cousins. Call in the big guns and play all the cards you can to watch the kids. Find the money, call time off, whatever you need to do. I know it's hard with it being this last minute, but this is an emergency. You can't afford not to go. We are here to help. Again, it's made out to be like you will never be successful in the business, which you probably won't, but it's not due to not going to conference. But it was always instilled in our head that if we weren't at the events, we would never be at the top of the company. And I actually found another unseen video of myself. I should probably, before I post this, go through all the groups and make sure I have all of the videos and stuff of myself, because I feel like after I post this, I'm probably going to be deleted from all the groups I'm in. Hello, you guys. Happy Monday. I don't know about anyone else, but today's Monday was just one for the books, to say the least. But guess what? I'm alive. It's Christmas time. I'm happy. You know, God's good. Let me know when you're hopping on so I know who's watching. Say hey. I'm going to wave when I see people hop on. Hey. I was just saying my Monday was one for the books. Like, I'm helping out at Graham's daycare, and I have 7 kids. 1 is over the age of 4. The rest are 3 and under, and there's 7 of them to me. So needless to say, my inbox is full of messages that I need to get back to, and my head is spinning, but I'm alive, and it's a good day. So I just wanted to hop on here and share with you guys part of my personal development today, because I think during a time of so many promotions and everyone's so pumped up, sometimes we get stuck in our own heads. And something that I read today was about when and then people. So a when and then person is someone that says, you know, like, when I get to this point, I'll start doing this. When I get to this point, then I'll start doing this. For example, a lot of Christians say, when I start making more money, then I'll start tithing. Or like, you know, when I have more time, I'll start working my business more. When the holidays are over, then I'll start doing this. When you know, blah, blah, blah. When this, then I'll do this. But we fail to realize that when we make those excuses is what they are. When we make those excuses, when that point comes, something else is going to come up that's going to make you say, well, when this is done, then I'll start doing this. Or I don't want to go for my promotion now. I'm going to wait until conference in case they announce these huge bonuses, which we already have huge bonuses, but I'm going to wait till conference and then I'm going to really start working and promote. And then conference comes around and we say, oh, you know, when my taxes come in, when people start getting taxes back, I'll start working hard again. Something always happens to keep postponing whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So don't be a win and then person. Do it now. Like, now is the time. There's crazy momentum right now. And if you wait until conference, your business is going to slowly dwindle, and then conference is going to come around and you're not going to be set up for a promotion anymore if you are right now. So push as hard as you can right now so that conference time rolls around and you're ready. Like, whatever they're throwing out at conference, you're ready to run with it. So there's one other thing I wanted to touch on with the win and then person. I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me later and I'll hop on live again. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you guys have had a good Monday and that it was a little bit better than mine. But I am going to dive into my messages now and get to work because I got triple to claim. So you guys have a good rest of your night. Bye! So there was my subtle attempt at making people feel like they're not working hard enough and to tell them to get to conference because their business is going to explode afterwards if they're putting in the work now. As top leaders, we were always encouraged to share our conference story in an effort to recruit people to conference every year. So we would make either a video where everyone would tell their story about how conference changed their life, or a compilation of all of our videos, or we would do a Zoom call and get everyone on and get them fired up for conference, where people would just tell how much their paychecks changed from their conference to before conference and after conference. Oh, I found this screenshot from one of my actually dear friends who has since left as well. But just imagine the amount of financial stress this would put on a relationship if you were in a relationship. It says October 2012, I had lost my job. I literally had $20 in my pocket, but my conference ticket was already bought and paid for. I remember sobbing on my way to launch a new distributor. I just spent the last $20 to my name to put gas in my car and didn't know how I was going to get home. I called my upline and was trying to talk to her as I was crying. I told her I could not go to conference because I could not afford it. I wanted to sell my ticket and maybe this whole crazy thing wasn't for me. She reminded me to have faith and try to do the best I could for today. We sold so many wraps, it was crazy. I had money for gas to get home and enough money to pay for my hotel room for conference. By January, I was still financially struggling and had to get a credit card to go to conference. It was honestly the best decision I ever made in my life. I ran on pure faith and had the best time ever. Conference gave me the vision to see the 5-year plan. I hit the ground running when I got home. My team and I started signing more people than we ever had before. I don't think I would still be with this company had I not gone to conference. Imagine the strain that would put on a relationship if your partner wanted to go to conference so badly they were willing to open up a credit card and they were encouraged by their upline to do so. So from there, it progresses into paying into ranks and buying bonuses, allegedly. I'm hesitant to share much on this because it definitely is illegal, but it is highly, highly, highly encouraged while you're in. And if you don't know any better, you don't know that it's illegal, you will do whatever you're told. So I have one screenshot from this, but it's not really anything too crazy, but I'm not going to share anything too crazy on this one for obvious reasons. AKA I ain't trying to get sued. But I had a distributor on my team who I must have been building her, so I needed her box in order to promote. And so I would put customers and distributors under her in order for the box to be filled so I could promote. So she said back, I haven't heard back from her. Her husband has been working out of town, so she's been using her vacation time to go see him and has rarely been at the office. I said, okay, gotcha. Are you able to place an order at all with the extra cash from these paychecks? Maybe even order the detox and have them buy it off of you. So it sounds like I was earning paychecks for her. So since I was transferring her people, she was getting a paycheck for not doing anything. And I was asking her if she could use that money to put it back into the business so that I could promote, because I must have apparently been short on volume on her leg. So these like pay-ins would be something like I mentioned from the screenshot, where you're at a lower rank and you would pay in, like $50, $100, maybe up to like $250. But once you start climbing the ranks, you could put in allegedly thousands between you and your husband's accounts in order to maintain those ranks or maintain those bonuses. And that's not even taking into consideration the company attire, the promos, the travel expenses for events and retreats once you get to a certain level, different team gifts, like if someone has a baby and everybody pitches in for that, different incentives for your team, stuff like that. That's not even including all of that, which a lot of times a spouse will see as a waste of money because the money's not coming in. So why do you keep putting money out? Which could drive a wedge between you and your spouse. Also, as a wife, you're at home all day, seemingly doing nothing, actually just mass messaging people, which is nothing. But you're at home all day doing seemingly nothing. Your husband's working overtime to pay the bills. You're bringing home no money, but you're still working all the time, so your husband has to pick up this extra slack at home as well. He's the one cooking dinners, doing bedtimes because you have nighttime Zooms and power hours, but you've also been working all day and not bringing in the money, and he's also working overtime, so he's getting run into the ground and you're getting run into the ground, which brings me to my last and final way that an MLM could ruin your marriage, and that is through resentment. And this is the one that I feel like complicates things beyond any of the other reasons that I mentioned. And that's because you have this team of sisters, rap sisters, in your ear telling you how you need to prove your husband wrong, how your husband doesn't believe in you. And if he believed in you, he would believe in the business and he would know that you could be successful. He's probably just jealous because you're the breadwinner and that really cuts into his ego. So you have this team of rap sisters that you feel like has your best interest at heart, and then you have your husband over here who these people are just telling you that he's just being a negative Nancy and he doesn't have your best interest at heart and he doesn't believe in you. So then you decide you're going to prove him wrong. And you know how you're going to prove him wrong? You're going to prove him wrong by working more, which in turn just pisses him off more and makes him act out more, which then in turn makes your little rap sister angels over here tell you even more how much your husband hates you. And it's just this vicious cycle of resentment. And let me just show you how bad this gets. So this is a post from a leadership group, but like a top leader group. So I think it was triples and above, or maybe it was like people going for triple. I don't remember specifically, but this was the question that was asked. Uncommon question: who has a husband that used to be involved and supportive but not anymore because of lost ranks, rebuilding over and over, and lower paychecks? Who had a husband all in, not believing in it anymore? I know it's usually the opposite, but it's killing my energy and makes me feel so bad and alone. First of all, let me just point out that lost ranks and rebuilding over and over again and lower paychecks, that happens to everyone. This is not uncommon, but they try to make you believe that once you get to a certain level, you don't have to deal with that stuff anymore. But you do. So don't let them trick you into believing that. So the question, it's a valid question. She wants to know how to deal with her husband who is no longer supportive, but was once supportive when she was bringing in the money. So you can see here that the resentment goes both ways. He resents her for not bringing in the money when she's working all the time. She resents him for not believing in her, not seeing the vision. Let's see what her peers have to say. These were the responses on that post. The first one: that's like my husband. He believes in it when it's convenient for him. Following and sending hugs your way. First of all, convenient for him means you're bringing money in and he has a happy wife and a happy life because the money's coming in, his wife is happy and thriving. When that's not happening, that's probably when it's not convenient for him. What kind of husband would be happy with his wife being miserable and running herself into the ground all the time for a job that doesn't even bring in money? Can't even support her kids, can't pay the bills. It's a very valid feeling. So then the original poster says back, exactly the same, convenient is the right word. How do you deal with it? This girl says back, I just tell him to get over it and ignore him and work harder to prove him wrong, but it doesn't make it any easier on the inside. So your husband is mad that you're working so much and you're not getting paid for it. So the solution is to work more to prove him wrong. Like, nothing against this girl, because we all believed that. But this is the double-edged sword, you guys. Like, these women truly believe that they're doing this for their family. They truly believe that if they just push a little bit harder and hang on a little bit longer, everything for their family is going to change. Their lives are going to be totally different. And then they have these people that are telling them, you know, tell your husband to shut up and get over it, basically, and work harder and prove him wrong. So it just reiterates to them, like, wow, I really do need to just like keep pushing, keep grinding in order for my life to change for my family. And then my marriage will be better, and my relationship with my kids will be better, and my money situation will be better. But the thing is, all that it's doing for you is damaging those areas of your life, and they never get better. You guys, I was at the top 0.02% or something along those, maybe 0.2. I don't know. I was up there, and it never got better. The money problems never went away. I was still stressed out all the time. I still had to eat, sleep, and breathe. It works. It never changed. But they really, truly believe that if they just do it a little bit longer, then everything's going to change for them. And I know this because that was me. Like, I truly believed that too. And I was the one pressuring my team and telling them these types of things, that if they just hold on a little bit longer, if they just work a little bit harder, it's all a numbers game. If you just put more work in, you're going to get more out of it. That was me. I did that stuff. So I understand the thought process here. I'm here to tell you that it's all a crock of shit. Ignoring your husband, telling him to get over it, and proving him wrong is like the perfect recipe for a failed marriage. Please, if you thought of ever doing that and you're in an MLM, that's not the right choice. Don't do that. And as I mentioned before, but I'm going to say it again and again and again and again and again, this is not uncommon. It wasn't just my team. This girl actually isn't even on my team. This is from a different team in a leadership page. But this is not uncommon. It happens with every single team and all the time. It wasn't just that I had a bad experience. I was in for 5 years, so I feel like I got a good mixture of like good experience and bad experience. But I also got an insight to a lot of people's teams, and I'm telling you, this was not out of the norm. This was very, very normal. I mean, let's look at more of these comments. This one says, my husband was anti-it works. Then he went on the cruise. We hit double. Didn't seem so wrong. Now we're fighting to regain ranks. He's opted to return to work, but he's encouraging me to quit. I'm more determined than ever to go triple and prove him wrong. Again, re-ranking because they lost rank, which happens all the time. It's very rare to maintain your rank for, I mean, if you just hit the rank, maybe a month, and then you'll lose it, and then you'll get it back, and then you'll like kind of grow a little bit and maintain it for a while, and then you'll lose it again. It's never consistent. We always told people it's consistent if you work it consistently. It's not consistent. And then another comment on this same post. Yes, fair weather fans. I did manage to convince him to go to conference again this coming year though, so I'm hopeful. Again, pressuring them to conform to this vision and get them to conference, aka spend more money, was the norm. My upline was constantly trying to get me to convince my husband to come to conferences and events with me. And now looking back, I see why, because when he did go to conference with me, we both were very uncomfy at first. We are not the type of people to like stand on our chairs and cheer and rah rah, shish kebab. Like, we're not about that. It makes us very uncomfortable. So the first day we were both like, this is weird. And then by the end of day 3, we were like, he was like asking me how to work my back office and asking me to teach him how to do the spreadsheets to keep track of my customers and my distributors and how to do the charting. And he could be my back office guy and we could do this together. Like, conference will do it. And I don't know how to explain it. People are always like, what's so special about the conferences? What happens at the conferences? I don't know. Like, you just are surrounded by all these positive, like-minded people. There's always music playing. Everybody's cheering and clapping and chanting, and everybody's so excited, and you're hearing stories from people that have come from all walks of life, so you feel like you can do it. You are getting all these tips and tricks from the top leaders that are just making sense to you. You're going through downtown Tampa chanting, "We are, it works." You're in the airport chanting, "We are, it works," and going up to random people and handing them a Blitz card and asking them to join your business opportunity. I don't know what it does to you. It just puts something in you, and they know that. That's why they want you there. Also, they want your money. Also, with resentment comes trust issues. And what I mean by this, I never dealt with this in my marriage. I mean, whatever. Like I said, I've already told you guys, I'm not claiming that my marriage is perfect or tooting my own horn. But what I'm referring to here is these women are so desperate to prove their husbands wrong and prove their worth because, you know, these top leaders are telling them that the reason their husband isn't supporting them is because they don't believe in them. They want their husband to believe in them. They're so desperate for that they are willing to open up credit cards to buy ranks so that they can prove to their husbands that they're worthy of it, or that it's working and that they were right, so that their husbands will support them. I know this because someone very close on my team did that. Going through these comments some more. This is my current situation 100%. I feel like after reading these, we just have to reload and prove them all wrong. We're not going to quit, so what other option do we have? He was never enrolled as a distributor, but when I went triple, so supportive, now not so much, losing rank. My husband was never supportive until I went diamond. These past few months, I haven't had his support at all, but that for me is ammo. I have to prove him wrong. There's a very common theme here. To sum it all up, people who are roped into MLMs, they tend to let the MLM define them. They let the MLM decide everything about their life. They're so brainwashed that they believe that everything that they're doing is for the greater good of their family, but all that they're truly doing is destroying their family. Please know that if anyone is asking you to take time away from your children, or anyone is trying to turn you against your husband, they're only doing that because of the way in which it financially benefits them. Do not ever take advice from someone who is above you in rank or someone who is in your upline. They will only tell you the things that will help them. They're not going to give you genuine advice based on your life circumstances. They're going to base it off of how it's going to benefit them. And I'm not saying if your husband is abusive or something that your friends shouldn't steer you away from him, but that's not what we're seeing in these MLMs. We're seeing marriages that weren't struggling before that are now struggling because of the MLM. So asking for advice from your upline within the MLM, they're going to steer you away from your husband and try to turn you against each other. As heartbreaking as it is, I hope you guys got something out of this video. If not for yourself, something that you can pass along to someone who might be in an MLM and is struggling in their marriage. Maybe just some things to bring to light for them and show them different ways that these things might be masking themselves within the MLM so that we can better recognize it to help those people, but also so that they can recognize it and get themselves out of that type of situation if it's not too late already. If you guys have been in an MLM and you're working on navigating life after the MLM, I have a support group on Facebook called The Light at the End of the Pyramid. We're just a bunch of people who have been in MLMs, share their stories and connect with each other and navigate life together with a community that we had similar to when we were in the MLM, but like actually care about us. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so that you can be notified when episode 2 comes out, which will be next week. And if you'd like to, you can follow me on all social media platforms at The Jessica Hickson. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Moving slower. I don't know what it is you do. I've been looking at you all night, trying to figure you out. I just wanna make you smile. Hold your hand in my hand, looking at the sunset. Man, you're looking good.